is just a reminder to never go back to a lie we shared. Anytime I'm feeling the urge to look at a picture, oh, I get so confused. 'Cause I swear I am so over you. My mommy told me that we shouldn't worry. Daddy told me just a good story. He said to move on and keep going. Imagine we had one more life and we're shot at sunrise. Erase everything, start with blue eyes. No more practicing tragic goodbyes. What if they fly away?
One, two. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
It's July 27th, 2023, and you're watching the PHP Ugly podcast. If this is your first time watching us or listening to us, welcome. We are three real-world developers who record a podcast that focuses on PHP and the PHP community. We stream live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time, and you too can be part of that live stream by joining us in our Discord, a great place to hang out. Discord runs all week long, but during this special time of the week, they become part of the show. And you are welcome to join us as well, but you got to watch the live stream to participate. The show is made a little better thanks to a couple of sponsors, PhpStorm and HoneyBadger.io, as well as our supporters on Patreon. Wow, I think I did everything. That's really weird. All right, let me introduce. That's what I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Eric Van Johnson, and with me tonight, he's a CEO by day, a MPC side hustle by night, John Congdon.
I have no clue what that means, but I think our podcast should now be called.
What? And our other host, a reclusive agoraphobe by day and a reclusive agoraphobe with a podcast by night, Tom Rideout.
I'm not reclusive. Gang. Ice cream's so good. Gang.
What are you guys talking about?
NPC, man, that's like
the worst trend to come out of social media in the last 10 years.
It's not even a trend. It's like a way people are making
non-player character. Isn't that what that means?
Yeah. So that's what they do. They apparently there's like this service you can.
Thank you, A-Woods. Thank you, Frank Wallen. Gang.
Apparently, there's like this service you can sign up for, and like,
Oh, it's TikTok. TikTok
is
Live.
is it just TikTok?
Yeah.
And they just so some of them like recite things that are said to them. Others will just sit there and like make these like NPC movements for hours. It's the like I'm sorry. Like I am pretty liberal. I have a pretty open mind. You make money how you need to make money. But at some point, like, are you really contributing to society? Like, really, I think you're better than that. It's the weirdest thing.
$4,000 a day for some of those people.
What? I take everything back. John, I need you to be an NPC. That's pretty much all it is. How's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Did you not get my reference about renaming our show? For real?
I did not get I didn't get it at all.
The
What
X
was that?
podcast?
What's that?
The X podcast?
Well, I was making up some gibberish, but yeah, Elon renaming Twitter to X.
I did not get
Oh.
the reference.
That was the reference.
Oh yeah, that was.
About if we didn't have Elon Musk to embarrass himself on a weekly basis.
I just don't understand. I honestly don't understand. That's like if we bought PHP Architect and said, okay, we're naming it Cat Lovers. What? Why would we do that? It's just
Yeah.
it's like
So,
he's trying.
Champ, I thought about saying Z, like we're renaming to Z, but that was a little too obvious. Some gibberish made way more sense in my mind. It's the way I roll.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, if I cared more about Twitter or X or whatever the hell we're supposed to be calling it, I might have more of an opinion, but I really don't.
I just love that he went from like metaphorically killing Twitter to literally killing Twitter.
With an X across the eyes.
Just murdered it. Who buys a brand with the recognition of Twitter and renames it? It is the craziest thing. I mean, just the brand recognition. It is the craziest thing to do.
Yep.
And he announced it and then did it on the same day.
You're gonna either have to put a camera on that cat or
I'm gonna put a muzzle on that.
all right.
Eric, how's your week? You start us off. You are the fearless leader.
Yeah, it went well. Back from Laracon. You know, we gotta talk about Laracon some more. I know we talked about it last week.
We did talk about it last week. Way more than I thought we were going to, with you kind of not being out. Or half being out.
But yeah, a good week. Kind of getting back into the groove, fixing some things. Yeah, good week, I think, so far. I need to start working on. I need to pivot over to another project that I'm not extremely thrilled about, but it needs to get done. It's this automation project that just numbers and just boring, but I got to get it done.
Yeah.
Besides
Gotta
that,
get it started. It gets brought up every week.
we got a few things accomplished this week. We'll talk about maybe later, but I think that's all I want to share right now. What about you, John?
Oh, it's been a very busy week. Still trying to get the July magazine out the door. Got it mostly ready to go. Couple, finishing touches that need to go on. I'm going to work on it once we're done recording tonight. So hopefully it will go out the door tomorrow. Outside of that, I've had a couple of big projects I've been working on. And one of them was just kicking my ass this week, trying to figure out. I had it working prior to me going on vacation. I come back and, changes were made. I had to get it up and running again, refactored to use some new things. But I could make it work locally. But because there's multiple systems involved, keeping everything straight in my mind was going just absolutely bonkers, to the point where if I didn't touch it for a day, or I didn't keep track of what was on what server, things would just go haywire. Last week I had a demo to do, but because I think I brought it up last week, because I didn't get a chance to practice prior to the meeting, things were in bad states. One server was not on the right branch or something. Whatever. Get through that. Test this some more locally. It works fine. Put it into the CI environment and have QA test it. Nothing works. Like, why? What is going on? Why is this not working? On top of that, trying to access the CI environment was failing for me. And then I'm trying to ask DevOps, like, hey, how do I get on the server so I can check things? They're busy. They don't get back to me for 24 hours. So everything keeps getting delayed, right? Finally get access to it. Finally realize I want to communicate between these two services over a VPC, which works fine from my house because I have a VPN into the VPC, but the CI environment, completely different region of AWS, no VPC access. And it's like, but that's what now I got to communicate over the public internet, and I don't want to. But all that just to find that out.
I totally feel you. I don't remember if I talked about it last week. I feel like maybe I did, but the whole you got something working and then went on vacation and some changes were made and things weren't working anymore. Mm-hmm. That happened to me. Like I worked with a developer to get an active endpoint working with a new application that they're building, and I go on vacation and end up going to Laracon as well. But I'm watching our Slack channel and I'm seeing all this conversation about these changes they're making to my code. I'm like, why are you touching my code? It worked. And it's like nothing's working.
And it worked. It worked prior to you making the changes you made to try and satisfy this too.
Exactly.
That's the part that's why that kept frustrating me. It's like, it worked.
How about you, Tom? How was your week?
Your wife has a point.
Oh boy. Pretty good. More CSS and JavaScript stuff, and long UAT days and testing and code review.
Okay, so UAT, please explain.
User acceptance testing. So one of our stages for any time we develop something now is making sure that it fits the requirements of the person who requested it in the first place. So it can be product team, it can be data team, any number of people who make requests for things. And once it's been proven to them that it works, I know. I don't know.
Will you feed that cat?
I just fed it 5 minutes ago.
Are there no other rooms in your house it can just wander into? I'm just curious, asking for a friend.
One other room, and it won't go in there because it wants more food. So, testing and the thing with CSS is that it's like, well, this looks like it's 3 pixels off, which is the reason I don't do CSS. Because in the actual source code, it was in REMs, which are relative sizes to the font. Mm-hmm. And so I have to figure out now what's the base font size and what's the correct REM for 16 pixels, and why did it move everything like I moved an image in a Word document, and so that's finally done, out the door, very happy about it. And then I get news that one of my fixes from last week has created a larger problem and has to be rolled back.
Fun.
Always fun. So, rolled back my fix, and now I have to get creative. One of our big problems is we have some of these functions that are called for multiple reasons. And the reasons they're getting called don't correlate to each other. One of them wants padding of 15 minutes left and right. and the other one doesn't want any time padding at all, and the other one needs it padded, 20 minutes after its schedule. So there's all this after we look it up, techniques going on, and the proper solution is purpose-built queries. But that takes time because now you have to find all the places where the purpose is executing it and change those, and it's just headaches. Programming, it's like we love this job. That's why we do it, right? Is that right?
Sometimes.
That's what my therapist tells me.
Yeah, that's what my wife tells me. Says,
Actually,
you love this job.
A was just digging into the bot some. I'm trying to remember how much of it I actually coded.
You could be a greeter at Walmart.
I'm a host name.
You'd be in a PC. Just stand there and rock.
That's what I do all day, anyways.
You got the words down.
I don't know all of them. I can't stand watching that stuff for more than a minute.
Oh man, it's like nails on the chalkboard. I don't understand
awful.
it. So bizarre. All right.
Although I'm glad to see Mitch McConnell get in on it.
Too soon, man.
Too soon for what?
Too soon.
What'd I miss? What did he do?
Are you gonna explain it?
That's what he did. He's in the middle of a press conference, and either has a stroke or some kind of massive cognitive.
He had an event of some sort.
Yeah, so he's in the middle of a sentence and just stopped talking and stared forward for 19 seconds until someone realized that he needed to be rebooted. And so
his Bluetooth died.
Yeah, took him to his office and did whatever, and then he came back and finished explaining how he's going to take away healthcare for everybody.
Yeah, but we will all benefit from it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a moment and talk about something we do all benefit from: PHPStorm. Do I just run this commercial, or do you want to?
Yeah, run it. Tools that we use as PHP developers. I want to thank JetBrains and PhpStorm for sponsoring. PhpStorm is a cutting-edge IDE tailored for PHP and web developers. If you haven't used it before, or it's been a while since you've last tried it, now's the perfect time to check it out again, because it has received significant performance improvements and an expanded feature set. Curious to see if it's the right fit for you? Head over to www.jetbrains.com/phpstorm to learn more and try it out with a 30-day free trial. Code smarter, not harder. Thank you.
We need to redo that.
PHP
Thank
Storm.
you, PHP
Yes.
Storm.
PhpStorm.
I got to
I
talk
agree.
to the PhpStorm people. Got the little PhpStorm elephant.
Yes, we saw.
Did I show this already? Did I show this to you,
already
Tom?
Showed it
Did
off.
you did you see it?
Yes.
It's got a mohawk, Tom.
Yeah, I saw
Mine's hanging up behind me.
So I got to talk to the PhpStorm team at Laragon. Nice people. They had a much bigger team than at Tech for some reason. It was so weird. But yeah. You know what I found out today? It's little things like this makes me enjoy stuff. The new PhpStorm. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if it's the new PhpStorm. So I do the EAP, early access program on PhpStorm, because I'm like, if I'm going to use it, I'm using Bleeding Edge, and I don't know if it's there or if it's always been there and I just never realized it. But on the UI on the new PhpStorm for sure, up in the left-hand corner, it has a color. Like it randomly picks a color for your project, and you can actually go in there and customize that color. And it's like little things like that I love. So like all my PHP architect projects, I can make them orange up there, and my client projects I can make purple or blue.
You have to show me that, because I have not seen that.
I'll show you tonight.
Last week we talked about the usability, or what was it called? The usability
productivity
guide where it shows you what features of PhpStorm you're using and which ones you aren't that you may want to. And Awood's brought up a good point. You can get to those things multiple ways, whether it's through the menus or through keyboard shortcuts. And the whole thing is everything should be done through shortcuts. So it should keep track of how are you getting to it. Are you using your mouse or are you using the keyboard shortcut? And if you can see, I'm using this feature, but I'm often doing it not through a shortcut. Well, maybe I should learn the shortcut. I thought that was a great idea.
They're called Vim bindings, John. Why do you keep saying shortcut? It's so bizarre. Idiot.
I use those too, but I also use a lot of the built-in PhpStorm shortcuts.
Didn't point this out. This is a jab specifically at John, who didn't take care of his business partner at Tech, but I even things out at Laracon. Our friend with bondage took care of me.
I was going to say, it looks like you just shaved an elephant.
I love the feet. Oh man!
I'm glad he hooked you up.
We gonna get a custom elephant made for the next PHP Tech, John?
Hey, did you see that our hard work at making this person famous, like how I sidestepped that, our hard work at making this person famous has gone explosive. Harry Mack got to freestyle in front of Ice Cube.
Yeah, right before Ice Cube went on Tucker Carlson. Yeah, that was great. No, but
I don't know what Harry Mack said to him, but turned.
You could tell. Obviously, we're fan. I'm a huge Cube fan. I haven't watched the Tucker Carlson interview. I don't know what that's about, and I'm not going to watch it. I don't like that guy. I don't care what he has to say. I'm sure Cube did the Cube thing, but I'm a fan of Cube. Obviously, we're a huge fan of Harry Mack here. If you don't know who Harry Mack is, he's the person who does our outro song. And if you watch the live show, he does the intro song too. We just play it twice for our viewers. But you could tell Cube was like genuinely impressed with Harry Mack, and Harry Mack was like a clear fan of Cube. It was cool.
Oh, I loved how he worked him into the rhyme, like talking about Friday, and it was a good day, and yeah, all the good old school references.
Champ Tucker was canceled. Now he's on X.com, right? Tom, isn't it the only place he is? He has a pod. I swear to God, they'll give anybody a podcast. Jesus Christ.
That's the X thing just got to me again. It's driving me so crazy.
It doesn't get better.
Okay, well, go to the Tucker thing.
Person.
Go to the Tucker thing then. Tell me more.
I can't. I didn't watch it.
Neither of us is ever going to see it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Despite it being promoted by Twitter.
Heavily. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've
heard the thing about views versus impressions. That like if you scroll past a video, it gets a view automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So like Tucker's bullshit is viewed by almost everyone who's on Twitter. So it has this incredibly high view rating, but the impression rating is like 10,000 people total, which is like more than a minute of view time, something like that. It's bizarre.
So, you know what? I got a ticket here. Oh, you look at you. You guys have been moving things over. Nice. I got a ticket here that I want to move over. I shared this with John earlier today. I mean, I feel like I have 100 seconds. We should probably just do it here. What do you think? Should I share this here, John?
I mean, I'm fine with it. It's lead into it though. We've talked about PostgreSQL for a long time, but every time I've gone to use it, I never really see the benefit of it. And I know that I've had people in my user groups of the past that swear by PostgreSQL, but I never watched a talk or anything that made me think, oh, I need to use this. And Eric finds this video, and it's short, but it's like, oh, maybe I kind of understand it.
Yeah, I'm with John. I mean, I was always the person. It's a relational database. I don't care. I'll use it. And then I had to administer a PostgreSQL database, which is very different than administering a MySQL database.
Right.
And then I hated it again. But much like John, I'm like, I don't understand why people get so Google Gaga over Postgres. And I've watched like a couple of videos and talks on it. It's like, yeah, okay, it's like they had the JSON thing before MySQL, but then MySQL got JSON. So it's like, all right, what are you bringing to the table?
It's the bidet situation.
It's a what?
It's the bidet situation where people get a bidet and they won't stop talking about it to everyone. And you're
Have
like,
I talked to you about my bidet? I love my bidet.
see, this is what I'm saying.
Mine
It's the
too.
exact same personality type that's just like, no, I wash my ass with water now. Let me tell you more about how great that is. And I'm like, listen, I've got a solution.
Oh wait,
in
is
place.
that what we were supposed to use it for? I thought it was supposed to be like a drinking fountain.
No,
Damn, I've
John.
been doing it wrong.
No, I've got a solution in place. It works perfectly fine for my needs. I understand that there are positives. To
Okay,
the
we're
whole
not going to have a big conversation about wiping butts.
I'm talking about Postgres.
Oh, okay. All right. Perfect. Sorry. I stepped ahead of you. Let's watch this video real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Are we going to get we can do this, right? This is not a. I feel like this is a thing, right?
Yeah. Why not?
All right. We'll do this video real quick. Boop, 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 boop. Do that, and let's do this.
SQL, the most trusted name in open source relational databases. Its development dates all the way back to 1986 at
How long
UC
is
Berkeley
this?
under the direction of Michael
Now we're gonna get
Stonebreaker. Like other
stricken
pure
for
relational
copyright.
databases, it stores data
That's my
in
thing,
tables,
right?
columns, and rows,
It's like,
and uses
we're trying to
structured query
promote it.
language
Like,
to
this is a
read
good
and
one.
write
All right,
data.
you gotta be
However,
quiet.
Postgres
It
is
goes
technically
fast.
an object relational database, which means it can create its own custom data types to store objects with properties and support advanced features like inheritance and polymorphism. When writing data, it runs fully ACID-compliant transactions, but also adds its own special sauce called multi-version concurrency control, which gives each transaction a snapshot of the database, allowing multiple transactions.
All right, I'm sorry. Like, how has nobody talked about that before? Like, how is first, like, the object-oriented piece of it, super, super cool. Like, that alone, I'm like, okay, I want to try this. This here, this version data, it's like, wait, what? What? Postgres does this? God damn it!
Well, MySQL does that too, though. That's what I don't understand.
I mean, so that's like the log, right? But if
No, not the log. When you start a transaction, there's a history buffer so that everything else can read prior to that transaction starting. This one sounds like it does more than what MySQL does, but it's not like it's a new phenomenon.
Gotcha. Okay, here's some more.
Transactions to run at the same time without traffic jams or locks. Developers also love its extensibility. Queries can be reused by writing stored procedures, and it even supports languages beyond SQL like Python and C. And it has a robust ecosystem of extensions, like PostGIS to provide geospatial data for apps like Uber, or Citus to shard and distribute the database to any.
That whole store procedure thing is like, that's nothing new either, right?
Right.
Writing store procedures isn't unique to Postgres.
Yeah. I mean, even the I guess sharding. Well, so the sharding, like, that's not a Postgres feature. That's a
Right.
service
You can,
built with Postgres.
and you can do sharding with MySQL too.
Right.
But that's not the part where we keep saying, "Oh, that's kind of a cool thing."
Now I don't remember what it is, except for the object piece.
The object
It's
piece,
just
the extensions written in Python and whatever else they said.
But like, what would you want to write an extension for? That's what I don't get. Like, I've never used MySQL and been like, man, I wish I had an extension for this.
I think what they're saying is like that geospatial piece is an extension. It's not built into Postgres.
That's kind of what they're saying, is that, like, instead of having to install a PHP package for geospatial stuff, you just put it on the MySQL server, and I'm like, I guess.
My
Mm.
MySQL servers are already doing too much as it is.
Yeah,
Right.
the middleman, but you haven't removed him.
Yeah. I should throw out a
That's
warning
making
here, and maybe we'll fast forward a little bit. They do kind of dive into a little bit of a commercial, but I'll skip that so we don't take away any money from
any
them.
scale, or PG embedding to give AI chatbots long-term memory, and the list goes on.
Well-
To get started, you can download and install it locally, or better yet, use a free client your SQL editor created by custom data type. Postgres gets in front of on data types, outlines the structure of an object relational database. Let's begin by creating a custom data type, which defines the structure of an object with corresponding properties and types. What's awesome about Postgres, though, is that we have more exotic data modeling options. Like arrays can be used by putting brackets in front of a type, then make it a two-dimensional array by adding another set of brackets.
Oh, that's
we
right.
also have
This is
JSON
kinda cool.
data types to handle unstructured data, and even key value pairs with extensions like HStore. Now that we
Yeah.
have this custom type, we can use it within one or more tables, like one table for programmers and another for designers. Once the table is created, we can then use an insert statement to add a row of data into it. Notice the use of a double colon to cast a string into JSON or HStore types. And now finally, we can read the data with a select statement that uses dot notation to access the properties on our custom object. Every table has a unique primary key, and we can create relationships by storing the primary key from one table as the foreign key on another. Like a programmer might own many Lambos. We can then find those Lambos by doing a join query that compares the programmer's ID to the Lambo's owner ID. This has been PostgreSQL in 100 seconds. Big shout out to
So yeah, I mean,
So if you're a DBA, then it allows you to have finer control over the structure of your database. But if you're in an environment like every environment I've been in that doesn't have a DBA, it just relies on senior programmers or CTOs to handle database structure, then it doesn't provide anything new for me. Because all that
provides-
stuff, like the casting, that's all stuff I deal with programmatically. The array storage, programmatically. Validation of data before I input it, programmatically.
okay, so let me ask you a question then. Since you're all about, well, I just handle that programmatically. Why are you not using document stores? Because then you can just handle everything programmatic. And I'm not being an ass, but like that's like to me, that's what a document store is. You're basically saying, okay, all data integrity is going to be the responsibility of the developer. No longer is an administrator going to have some sort of gatekeeping capability for data integrity.
Indexing for the most part, but also I've begged at every company I've been at to use a data store, and I've been told no. Every company I've been at.
It's a weird paradigm shift. Like if you don't have your head around it, I still struggle with it. But if you don't have your head around it, I was like that. I'm like, why would I ever do this? This makes no sense. Now that I've used it in a few places, I'm like, why am I not using this more? Like, this is so smart. And I'm talking about data stores there, not Postgres. So
Right.
didn't mean to.
So Buttery says doc stores are great if one only has one view of the data. And I'm assuming you meant almost like one table, but you can take multiple data stores and relate data between them. So it's not like solely document stores, and you can't say document stores have no relation. You can still have a document and then have another document relate to it by ID. It's just not, there's no integrity checking to say,
Right.
oh, my user has to have an address over here, and if not, there's an issue, or I can't have an address without a user, that type of thing.
And it gets even more weirder than that, because it's like, well, why isn't the address part of the user record? It just gets weird. But yeah, to John's point, there's just no checking. And coincidentally enough, this was not pre-planned, but had we gotten our shit together and gotten the magazine out sooner, we have an article in this month's magazine about Postgres by our good friend Joe Ferguson.
Yep.
Yep.
Tonight,
So,
tomorrow latest. I'm gonna say.
I'm looking forward to that one too.
Have you guys heard about this fantastic new feature coming to PHP?
Which one?
I know everybody hates globals.
I use them all the time.
Everybody is going to love Glorbo.
Love
Of
what?
what?
Glorbo?
What the hell's a Glorbo?
So with the
You making stuff up again? You know you get fact checked a lot, right?
this one up. So people got mad about all the AI written articles that are coming out about gaming, speculating that just scraping Reddit, taking all of the comments and creating an AI written article for their news site. And someone finally said, you know what? Let's just completely invent a new character for World of Warcraft and a whole bunch of new spells and techniques and stuff. And the rest of the gaming community took onto this. So now almost every game out there, every, sort of like online game or games as a service game, has articles about the new character Glorbo and how awesome the Glorbo encounter is, and how the new techniques of sled diving and jump scaring are the best techniques against Glorbo the boss, and that the drop from killing him is the golden jingle jangle, and it's one of the strongest weapons in the game. And it took about a day and a half for articles all over the internet to start popping up about techniques for defeating Glorbo and for finding Glorbo in the map. So I can't wait until the PHP community gets onto this and starts writing articles about how to properly implement the new Glorbo operator in PHP.
see, the AI, thought it was this close to taking over the world, but they forgot one thing: humans are assholes.
Yeah,
we will fuck with you.
Yeah, so Glorbo is secure globals. It's like a global constant. Also, if we put Glorbo in the title of this episode, we will gain an amount of traction you cannot believe. Like the YouTube, it will be our biggest YouTube viewed episode ever.
All right. Everybody start working a Glorbo title. Oh, we already got one. Run, Glorbo, run. All right. And of course it's A-Woods. A-Woods is always there. Glory to Glorbo. I gotta have like a Glorbo PHP spin on it. Come on, get PHP in there. Glorbo PHP.
Yes,
Glorbo is
the
ugly.
Glorbo operator.
The Glorbo PHP operator. Come on.
Exactly.
I know it's not PHP related, but I just love that as great as we, as much as we hype up this AI stuff that's helping us out and doing great work, it can be sabotaged. Well, with the PhpStorm AI plugin that they released with the newest EAP.
JetBrains AI.
Yeah, JetBrains AI, Copilot, stuff like that. They're great. They're helpful. They're wonderful. But AI can be poisoned too. And this is the perfect example of a community poisoning an AI data set just to screw around.
Seven turtles doesn't work for titles, and you misspelled elephants.
Yeah, where'd you learn to spell elephants? It's PHP. Always. It's always been that way. Come on. I said I wanted to get back to Laracon, and I do want to get back to Laracon because, like I said, I have an interesting realization in that. But before I left for Laracon, I think I told you guys that I had all sorts of weird things stopped working in my house. My dishwasher stopped working, my air conditioning stopped working, and you know what would have helped with all that?
What is that?
Honey Badger. And now, a word from our sponsors. Classic Tom. Did look infected, however. You probably should have somebody to look at it. Oh, hi! If you know me, you know I'm somebody who literally wears a lot of hats. I'm a podcaster, a publisher, and a coder. What I'm not is somebody who has a lot of time worrying if their site is giving their users problems. That's why I use Honey Badger. Now, let's be honest. Honey Badger is a sponsor of the podcast, but that's not why I feel good talking about them. I've been using Honey Badger for years and couldn't be happier. Honey Badger has a suite of monitoring tools specialized for developers. It's the only system that combines monitoring, uptime, and cron heartbeat monitoring into a clean, fast interface. Honey Badger offers a generous free tier, and with just 2 lines of code in about 5 minutes, you can start monitoring your application. Personally or professionally, it works for everybody. Honey Badger can help you identify and fix problems sometimes before the user even knows there's an issue with your site. And at no cost to sign up, it's literally free for peace of mind. So go over to honeybadger.io and sign up for a free account today. What's going to hurt? If somebody asks you, tell them the Ugly Squad sent you. Now I got to get back to podcasting. I got these co-hosts I need to talk to. And they are co-hosts. I don't care what anybody says. I'm the host because I'm cooler than all of them. Thank you, Honey Badger. Guys, don't be rude. Thank Honey Badger. Ugh. Thank you, Honey Badger.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Need to make an amendment to that. Now I have to now I really have to re-record that commercial because were informed in our Discord that I think this week or last week, Honey Badger did away with their free tier. Wonk, wonk, wonk.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I have not confirmed this myself personally, but I think it was in our Herd channel. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you get a special channel in our Discord called The Herd. And I think that's where the conversation was held, but maybe not. I don't remember. All right. So Laravel, had so much to talk about with Laracon. And there are things I wanted to follow up on that honestly didn't. Like, I wasn't sure if native PHP released their Linux version, their Linux build, the ability to build the Linux or not. They said it would be about a week. Maybe it's going to be a little longer. But I came to the realization that, you know what didn't happen at Laracon, John?
I could think of a lot of things, but
this is going to be a spicy take. First off, if you went to Laracon and you're in our Discord, let me know if I'm wrong. I could have very easily missed it. There was no swag bag at Laracon. No t-shirts, no little doodads, nothing. You got nothing but a badge when you went to Laracon.
Huh.
Now,
are we taking notes? Is that what you're saying?
This is what I'm saying. Like, 0 people complained about it. And I'm not necessarily complaining about it. I kind of, like the t-shirt aspect because, you go to a conference, you want a t-shirt. But I didn't notice. I didn't notice for like 2 or 3 days. And then I'm like, hey, I forgot. I didn't get a t-shirt. I'm like, wait, I didn't get anything. Wait, what the hell? Damn it. But nobody complained about it. There were no that I saw. There were no tweets about this. Now, again, I could be wrong. If you're listening to this podcast, feel free to tweet at me and say, Eric, you idiot, the swag bags were in the corner or something. But I don't think there was a t-shirt or anything at Laracon. Just something to keep in mind because I know how much we spent on t-shirts and extra little things in our
bags, everything else that was in there. Yeah,
dude, I thought we had really nice swag bags for PHP Tech, but maybe swag bags are like a pre-COVID conference thing, and like we don't do them anymore. Like maybe we're showing our age by doing them. You know what I did?
You need a digital conference bag.
You know what I did get at Laracon? Got a cold.
Oh,
hardcore. So we recorded our podcast last Thursday night, which was the last day of Laracon. I had gone to dinner with a friend, and I had indulged in a few things. Adult beverages, one, and a big chocolate milkshake as another. Neither one of them sits well with me, but I'm like, hey, our flight is until the end of the day. I'll take the hit. I'll be fine. And so I woke up the next morning, not feeling 100%. That's fine. I kind of anticipated it. Took some aspirin, did the things I needed to do. And like, I fell back asleep and didn't wake up until like 11 o'clock. And I woke up, I'm like, holy crap, I think I'm feeling worse. So I'm like, man, I must be getting old. Like, I can't handle anything. I am not.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah. No, lactose for sure. Like 100%. That's what I thought was going to kill me. And that's what I thought was the problem I was having. So listen, I want you to appreciate this. I am that guy, like Seinfeld with the black-white cookie. I'm that guy. It is very important to me that I don't throw up. Like, I will go years without throwing up. I cannot. It's one of the things I can't stand doing.
You've bragged about it on the show in the past.
So I can't do it. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, I have a connection with Seinfeld. Like the whole competition show. Nope, didn't connect to that. I would not have survived that. But that I totally understand. I'm on this plane, and I'm looking at my current wife. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to puke on this plane. And, she can look at me. Like, at first she was like, I think she was a little annoyed with me because, we didn't do anything our last day.
Well, it's not usually flattering.
Right. And then, I'm bitching and whining the whole time, like going to the airport and getting the plane.
Buddy, you're right.
And I'm thinking I am not going to make it. And so that's when the current wife was like, there's something else going on. And I was sick for like 2-3 days after. And then I saw on Twitter a bunch of people from Laricon was like, all right, who gave me a cold? I'm like, son of a bitch. Oh, man. So yeah, I got a cold. And unfortunately, it wasn't COVID. Like, of course, that's the first thing. I'm like, that was the second conference I've been to. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I go to a conference and I get COVID. I just knew it. I'm like, that's it. I'm not going to Austin. John going to Austin by himself. I'm not going. But it wasn't COVID.
Yes, we're going to Austin. I like that segue there. Going to Austin in a few months.
Yeah, we are. We are going to Austin. We're going in official PHP architect capacity, which is cool.
Should print up some PHP architect face masks.
Hey, I thought we talked about that for tech. We really did. We had already spent all of our swag budget, but yeah, no, totally. I think that's
also the fact that I'd been to a conference or two prior to that, and very few people were wearing masks. And there were fewer at tech than at the previous conferences I've been to. So you could see that it's been like falling off of people they're not wearing them. It's not wearing them in the stores. It's just.
And I'm not calling people out by name. I'm not going to call people out. But even the person who gave us shit for not mandating mask wearing was at tech, not at the conference, but at tech, not wearing a mask. I'm like, what? That pissed me off. I'd be all kidding aside. That pissed me off a little bit when I saw that.
Yeah, when we had a semi-civil conversation and then it gets turned around in other media that I was being unreasonable. Yeah, I agree. But speaking of tech, should we talk about tech?
Let's talk about tech.
Speaking
Let's
of
talk about
should
tech,
we?
baby. Let's talk about you and me.
So Eric, we're having things worked on for Tech 2024. The dates in that thing that you shared with me today are incorrect. So make sure that is looked at.
Yeah, there's a lot incorrect in that thing.
Yeah,
I
agree. Today. We have official dates. We have an official place. Share, of course. We have to share, right?
Yeah, at this point.
So we have settled.
Colorado Springs.
It is going to be at Tom's house.
My house.
in Tom's house
God,
With a
we have to
screaming
start
cat.
clean.
with the
We'll
cat.
be keynoting.
So as much as Eric hates it, I love the Sheraton that it was at. We are going to go back to the Sheraton in Chicago.
Trust me, this was by no means not from a lack of me trying any other place. And
We
good.
we put out a RFP, a request for proposal from other hotels in the area. A lot of them couldn't handle either the size of the conference or the dates that we wanted, or for whatever reason, it just didn't work. We turned down a lot that, it was just too far. You would have to rent a car because you couldn't just take the train close by. It would have been a lot worse. To us, the location it's at, you have free transportation from the airport to the hotel very easily. If you want to go downtown, you just take the shuttle back to the airport and take a $5 train to go downtown.
Yeah.
So easy.
And to be fair, it's not that I hate it. I would rather it be anywhere else. No, it's not that I hate it. And they were very accommodating last year. So like working with them, it's and it did have that familiar feel to it when I went to it. Tom, I think I shared with you, but maybe I didn't. I was really trying to get it at that hotel we stayed at in Louisville that one year.
Oh, yeah.
That would be perfect. And so that was my big pitch. First thing, I think Louisville might not have been the bottom of the list of places that people were interested in going to a conference, but it was like the second to the bottom, or if it wasn't the bottom. And the hysterical thing about it is I didn't even think like the international travelers. Like, I went up to Derek from XDebug. I'm like, Derek, you'd go to the conference if it was in Louisville. And he looked at me, he goes, what the fuck is a Louisville?
Like the baseball bet.
I'm like, Louisville, Kentucky. He goes, I don't know where that is. It's like, is that close? And the shame thing about it, and back me up on this, Tom. The shame thing about it is, if it was held there, people would have an absolute blast because it was so much fun. It was the hotel's
the venue we went to wasn't the same hotel.
Not the venue. I'm talking about having the conference in the hotel we stayed at.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a nice place.
And it was close to
You're
everything.
selling it well, Tom.
Well, but see, don't forget that there's also like the pizza crew. So like one of the tech traditions is getting
No,
hot
it's
dogs.
dogs. It's
hot dogs.
Sausage.
Okay.
And they do that no matter where they're at. That's not a Chicago thing.
Yeah.
They do it wherever they go.
Does Louisville have
It's
sausages?
worst
I
con.
guess Louisville first.
Worst con, yeah.
Worst con.
They find them.
Yeah, no,
They'll figure it out.
Louisville was great. They have that incredible entertainment district.
That's
right
right outside the door.
Yeah, it's just so fun there.
All the
So those of you that want it at Louisville in 2025, you need to speak up because we did a survey, and the survey said
nobody was interested.
Chicago.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Not only did Louisville not win, Chicago won by a large margin.
To be fair, the pool was skewed towards Chicago already.
This is true. And we had this conversation and we understand this. So the survey was done by people who attended the conference. And we had a conversation of, okay, but who's not going to the conference because it's in Chicago? Where would they like it to be? And we're going to address that, maybe next year. But it's not like this isn't going to be a reoccurring thing. Like if we get settled in, there's no reason for us to change it up. Like after year 2, year 3, like I would say for sure after year 3, it would have to be something between us and the venue to change it up at that point. Because by that time, we're so dialed in we're like grandfathered into costs and things.
Well, there's also it originally moved away from there because it was there for years because of capacity. So if we keep seeing an uptick in attendance,
Well, that would be a good problem to have. Yeah,
right.
Really
That was the original reason for leaving that location.
Do we want to share some of the details? Like
we need to share the dates so that people can get it on their calendar. If you're okay with me doing that, I should check with you.
Yeah.
We're looking at April 23rd through the 25th of 2024. Not looking at, that's what we signed. So
that's what's on the contract.
Fingers crossed.
What was on that thing? That's not what they put on there?
No, they put 24 to 26. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 23rd through the 25th.
Gotcha.
I look at tech as being a professional conference, meaning your business should cover it. It should be on business days. You shouldn't be using your paid time off for it. If your company is making you use paid time off, send them to us, or like let us have a conversation. That's just crappy.
We do well. It's not crappy, but we do want to help. Like we want to help educate companies who don't see the value in sending their developers or their team. They don't even have to just be developers. I mean, you send your team. Everybody can benefit from this, and we'd love to have those conversations with bosses and managers to see if we can't help out with that. Another John and I are pitching some very interesting ideas with tech. Because like I said, we really want tech to be more impactful, not only to, the conference, but to PHP. And so John and I have some things we're going to try to do, but we can't talk about those yet. But what we can talk about is breakfast. If you went to tech this year, one of the weird things that happened, it's totally on John and I, we didn't even really think about it, but there was like this breakfast buffet thing in the lobby of the hotel, not the lobby, but the atrium area of the hotel, and
right at the bar.
Yeah, and it wasn't like like if you go to hotels, you see these all the time. I mean, normally they weren't as nice as this one, but you see them. And so a lot of people were going up and grabbing some breakfast, and then it turns out it's like, oh yeah, this is not like part of the hotel. You have to pay for this,
and it wasn't cheap. It was $18 for your plate.
It wasn't cheap. Yeah, exactly.
I walked up, and the only thing on there that I would eat was the oatmeal. So I grab a bowl of oatmeal, and they're like, yeah, do you want that on your room charge? I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, we'll get you afterwards. And I'm like, I'll be over in the registration room.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. So we did have that
Was the
included
bowl of oatmeal worth it?
So if you stay at the hotel in 2024, breakfast is included. So
we will hopefully have a link up next week to start booking that, because you want to book a year in advance.
Well, see, what the hell what are you committing to here? What?
Eric's working on it. He'll have it done tomorrow morning, right after he's done editing the podcast.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's why I'm the host, because this damn podcast didn't get edited and published until I got home sick as a dog and did it.
Eric Mann asked, can we get in the lounge in 2024? We asked. We did check on that, and they said no.
The lounge is like the top floor thing?
The top floor. Turns out that is for if you have the Marriott Bonvoy points and you're a platinum member or whatever it is, then you can get in there. But you have to be a VIP, and they said, you're no VIP, Mr. Congdon. Get out of here.
Yeah. All you're doing is renting out several hundred rooms for a week. I don't think you qualify.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what's in the lounge? I was always wondering that.
They gave us the impression. Yeah, they gave us the impression nothing really, like coffee and just like a lounge area for people to sit around in.
Ben, I remember that we did go up there, and we could just hang out up there. I wonder if it was somebody in the group had access to it, and they just let us in there. I don't know if it was officially allowed by
Maybe.
Hotel or not.
Maybe. All right.
Time to
I
become a
wouldn't want to
VIP.
go in their lounge anyways.
You know who are
Sounds
VIPs to
awful.
us?
Who are our VIPs?
You. You come to my lounge. Oh, I mean, honestly.
Completely drowned out by the music.
It's fine. I didn't want them to hear that anyways. The herd is our VIP lounge in Discord.
Oh, I
Just
thought you were
saying.
saying they can come over to your pool and hang out. That was
No,
their lounge.
nobody's allowed in my pool. You don't want to be in my pool. Trust me. I have done away with all my bathing suits. I have a very private backyard. So there's only one way I go in that pool.
Stop.
The way God made me. That's how I go in that pool.
That's absolutely not true. I happen to know God made you with one more testicle than you have now.
All right, thanks to all our Patreon supporters. You are
Since I
appreciated.
get that joke, I
very
have
much.
to do it. I have to do it.
Yes, you do. Champ is active in Discord, man. Champ, it's
And he
great
says
to see
he
you.
says he's going to tech next year.
Oh yeah, he has to go. One thing. Hello.
Well, he has to be there beforehand or afterwards.
Ben, you don't know what TMI is. If you'd gone to dinner with me in Nashville, you would. I would have just laid it all out there for you.
All one of them.
Did you invite him?
No. Why would I do that? To be fair, Nashville is his town. He could have invited me, but he was too busy hiding in bushes. I saw you, Ben.
Hiding in bushes. What are you talking about?
Hiding from me.
Oh,
He doesn't like me.
don't we have stories? Don't we have stuff that have you seen the news about Stack Overflow?
Are they renaming themselves to X Overflow?
Gross.
What about Stack Overflow?
So there was someone on Reddit who was saying, well, Stack Overflow is just really low on impressions right now. Like the business is tanking, and it looks like it's got something to do with ChatGPT, because people are asking ChatGPT how to do stuff, and it's already scraped all of Stack Overflow, so it knows the answers.
Oh, interesting.
But it turns out that's not really the case. They've been tanking statistically for quite a while. So there's a thread on this on Reddit, and a lot of the speculation around it is basically this is the result of their practice. They don't allow repeat questions. So you've got a question about PHP back in the 5.4 days, and how do I do this? And the number one answer has 100 upvotes or whatever, and it never gets updated to the newest version. The proper way of doing it on 5.4 is not the way you do it now, but it doesn't matter. You can't ask the same question twice. And along with that, there's a million websites that are scraping Stack Overflow, and when you search for a question about your programming language of choice, those come up first before Stack Overflow. So their impressions are getting stolen because there's just
John,
such
you
a
need to start
stagnant pool.
scraping Stack Overflow for PHP. Put it on PHP Architect.
So it's interesting to me that their sort of business model is now killing them, or at least harming them quite a bit. The picture associated with this shows that their traffic, which was at a peak in April 2021,
Okay.
over it was over 20 million per month, and now they're down to less than 10 million a month.
I mean, didn't Stack Overflow have a reputation of being a little toxic as well?
Yeah, and that was encouraged by their
Is
policies
it online?
too. John makes a good point. There's a lot of gamer mentalities on there, but their policies generally were like, yeah, if you ask the same question twice, make sure to call. Someone will call you an idiot, dumbass. Why didn't you look it up first? Or if your answer is not optimal, especially in the Perl and Python spaces, then you'll just get
Pearl guys
roasted.
are dicks.
Hey,
And when it first started, like if you gave an answer, that was the normal sort of behavior, but it eventually evolved into this like don't answer unless you have the most concise answer. Otherwise, put it as a comment. And so if you make an answer that's not what people want, they want you to make it a comment, they just roast you for it. I mean, you get yelled at.
I honestly don't know the last time I legitimately used Stack Overflow. Because you're right, Tom. It's like if I look stuff up on Google, even before Chat GPT, if I look stuff up on Google, I seem to always be taken somewhere else than Stack Overflow.
I often end up on Stack Overflow, but I'm not use Stack Overflow to search. It's just whatever comes up.
Yeah, the Laravel stuff very specifically goes to the Laracast forum.
Yeah, a lot of answers are there. Yeah, but that makes sense, right? I mean, that's where the Laravel.
The Laracast forum is really nice because they implemented this is the answer functionality. So, you get a bunch of comments, but the first comment that shows up on a question is the most upvoted or most popular comment, or the accepted answer by the person who posted it. So you get a lot of value out of it.
How is that different than Stack Overflow's upvoting?
It's not completely populated with assholes, and people aren't fighting.
I've read a couple of them.
People aren't fighting over internet points or awards for answering the most questions, or it's Stack Overflow is a rough place.
I wonder what my clout score is. Speaking of internet points,
is that still a thing?
No, of course not. I hope not.
Oh, I'm sure someone bought it for $500 million.
You named it X.
It's called X Clout.
And now you gotta look it up. No, it doesn't look like it's a thing anymore.
So dumb. I just don't understand it.
What's that?
Elon Musk is just so dumb.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I
got a non-tech question, and this is our Discord's chance to really participate because they really haven't been doing anything this entire show. So really want to see some input here. And I'm most curious from out of country, out of the U.S. People. Buttery, really, really curious about how this is in Japan, and anybody from anywhere else, if you have some input. What is it's getting out of control for me because it's just getting out of control. When I travel, it seems so much more noticeable, but what is your all's opinion of tipping?
Oh, like America's like one of the only countries that does it, really.
Now, I've heard that in the past too, and I find that hard to believe, but it would be interesting to get some validation on that. Yeah. So so here's the thing that frustrated me the most, and it happens all the time. It's like I order something, I go there, I pick it up, and I bring it home. But when you pick it up, they're asking for a tip. I'm like, I'm not using your facility. You're not waiting on me. You're not cleaning my dishes. What am I tipping? It's like I paid you for the food you cooked. Get a livable wage. It's just like, it drives me nuts that everywhere you go, like there's this implied, you're going to tip us, right? And you go through the drive-thru,
and then you feel bad if you don't.
Everywhere.
I'm getting over the feeling bad. I really am. It's taken me a while. And keep in mind, listen, I tip well. Like if I sit down in a restaurant and I get good service, I tip well. My current wife, or my wife at the time, used to complain about my tipping habit, and I flipped the script on them, and now my current wife is happier with my tipping. But
Just
I tip, I over tip, and I'm okay with that. I don't feel like I should have to, but I know it's a shit situation they're in, and they're doing their best. I am one of these people. You don't give me good service, I'll tip. I'll tip whatever the expected minimum is, because again, you're in a shit situation. But you don't give me service, you ain't getting extra money. But if you don't give me any service, don't ask me for a tip. Just don't. It drives me nuts.
To be fair, when you set up your point of sale system, it's a one-stop shop. So it's not like when they print out the receipt, they can say, oh, this is a to-go order. We don't print out the tip portion, but for people sitting down, we do. You're a restaurant, the tip thing is just part of the point of sale system. We just have all become accustomed to seeing, oh, there's a line for a tip. If I don't, I look like an asshole. So I'm going to put it on there.
Interesting.
But
Buttery
that
says, good.
I was gonna say that's just America.
Yeah, I say Buttery says, UK, you tip on extremely good service, particularly if you are a large party. That's another thing. If you have a large party and you don't tip well, you're the asshole. Like, you're the asshole in that situation. And there's no two ways about it. You have a large party, you need to factor in that tip. Matter of fact, a lot of places will factor it in for you nowadays. Japan, he says, no tipping whatsoever is actively rejected if you try often. I assume he meant to say offer. Although in some bars, there is a culture to buy the bartender a drink. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure it's good business to have your bartender wasted as hell, but that's interesting.
So this is there's a couple things here about the tipping. Do you know what the federal minimum wage is for a tipped employee?
Oh, I know what it was many moons ago. I don't know what it is now.
$2.13. It's the same as
That is bullshit.
Still,
how do we allow that? How do we allow that?
It's crazy. Colorado, the tip minimum wage is $10 and something cents, but not at Casa Bonita. Casa Bonita, the world famous restaurant in Colorado, which was purchased by Matt Stone and Trey Parker, reopened this year with a $30 minimum wage and no tipping.
And this is how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, really, this is like I think there's, by more privileged people, there's this thought of, well, this isn't somebody's real job. This is like extra money they're doing on the side because they're going to school. People don't understand, like, this is how a huge amount of people in this country make a living. And the fact that we oh man, you're gonna get me on a soapbox about this minimum wage thing, and I'm gonna lose my shit.
No, it's so crazy. And could you imagine making $2.13 an hour and getting one of those religious pamphlets that looks like a $20 bill? I don't
even know what you're talking. I don't even know what you're talking about. But that makes me mad.
I haven't seen it either. But
it's common in Texas. I've seen it a lot from Texas. That it looks like a folded up $20 bill, but when you unfold it, it tells you that the true tip is to know Jesus Christ.
Love Jesus Christ.
Yes, and it's insane. Like, it is an insane way to treat people. I do not understand it. But
yeah, that's just a rant of mine. And again, that Reddit subreddit, am I the asshole? Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, am I the asshole for thinking this? Because I feel like I might be, but at the same time, it's like, no, I don't think I am.
So I think it's important to know the law for the state that you're in. So it varies by state, but Texas,
but you still have that
Oklahoma.
You still have that whole you're supposed to tip 15%, whether they're making $2 or $10 or $15.
Yeah.
That percentage is locked in your mind of minimum 15%, but we all do 20, 25%, and it's just crazy.
So interestingly, California does not allow a different tipped minimum wage. So every employee must make at least the California minimum wage.
What do you mean?
They got to make $15 an hour or whatever the minimum wage is now.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's because that's our state's minimum wage. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and that's the other thing. Like a minimum wage
$15.50.
is a minimum wage. Like there can't be an exception for if you get tips, you can have a lower minimum wage. You're defeating the purpose of having a minimum wage. It's man, you're driving me nuts. I can't stand this. I can't stand that we do this, and so many of those people are the ones who like vote for politicians who continue this cycle. And don't get me wrong, it's on both sides. Both parties do it. All right.
Yeah, it's awful. And the idea that McDonald's, which has 150, 200 customers an hour, would somehow increase its prices because it has to pay the 4 people working there an extra $7 or $8 is just bizarre to me.
Yeah, and I love that argument. It's like, okay, you want everybody to make a $15 an hour minimum wage? How do you feel about paying $40 for a Big Mac? It's like, what's your math there? Like,
am I the only one buying a Big Mac at this place?
Jeez. All right, that's it.
Math is hard.
You guys.
That's the title. Math is hard.
Math is hard. No, it's got to be the Gordo. I'm not accepting any titles but Gordo titles.
Glorbo reigns.
Glorbo. That's the only. I'm putting Thomas to the test as far as views. Thomas is going to be watching this video all weekend just to get the views up.
He guaranteed it. Damn it.
He did. He absolutely guaranteed it. All right, that's it for episode 345.
I agree, Ben.
I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it
ugly.
One, two. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
That's it. I'm not gonna get into a whole other stuff. You see, I got some music going here. Got this all set up.
Yeah, even though last time it failed us.
Didn't fail me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thanks, Evie. Seven.
Walking on my tippy toe. You say big get in that studio. I recorded my first song. You had told me that I'm next to blow. I'm all
you know what? I'm changing my whole outtake on this whole tipping thing. I think I'm going to support it and just tell our clients that if they want our developers to make a livable wage, they're going to have to tip, and we're going to pay them.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what I was thinking.
On our invoice, we'll have a tip line.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just like when you tell them, like, you put out an estimate, like, know that's going to be $15,000 plus tip.
I mean, how could that possibly be illegal? I don't know. It seems perfectly fine to me.
We have a service charge just like everybody else, you know.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
pay
restaurants you go to.
So if you don't tip them, you're hurting them.
2021, it's been a crazy year.
It's not us. We're not hurting them. It's you.
Do you not love America? Tip! I've had a couple people voice some concerns about the music I play at the end of the show. Have no concerns. This is a service that we subscribe to called Pretzel, and all the music is YouTube safe and DRM free or whatever.
It's YouTube safe, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not what?
I wouldn't play any of the rap music.
Why not?
A lot of words.
It literally says YouTube safe on the check
Safe
mark.
on YouTube.
What?
I don't know what
Your
point
music
you're trying to
is
make.
A lot
Music is loud.
of edits
How is that?
in several of the songs you played last time.
Are you guys still hearing that?
Yeah.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
I can't hear that. That's just... I don't want to call them out because they're in our Discord, but I ran into a Discord member you might be surprised to find out, John, but at Laricon, who I was complaining. You know, I've talked several times about how I'm hard of hearing. I went and got my ears checked. They say I need hearing aids. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, but whatever. So at Laricon, we talked about that first day and all that noise. I was having a really hard time hearing what was being said and focusing on what was being said. And this person, if you're in our Discord and you're okay, feel free to step up and say, oh yeah, that was me. But this person was like, oh yeah, I was the same way. And I'm even wearing my hearing aids. I'm like, wait, you have a hearing aids? And he reaches in his ears and pulls out these little buds.
Did I share that, or did somebody share in Discord? I forget where I saw the article about hearing and dementia. Have you seen that?
Oh, it sounds familiar, but
No, that's hearing in Alzheimer's. It sounds familiar, but I just can't put my tongue on it.
Asshole. Yeah, I don't know. Either you shared it with me, or you might have shared it in Discord,
or somebody in Discord shared it. I remember seeing it recently, and it's like, huh, interesting.
I forgot to mention on the podcast that the X logo looks like the X Windows operating system logo.
No, it doesn't look like it. It's the Linux Xorg logo. And then we didn't even talk about the fact that I guess
or trademark.
Yeah, Facebook and Microsoft both have versions of trademarks on it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't trademark the letter X though. You can trademark the design, but like you can't. Anyone can name themselves X something.
SpaceX, Tesla X.
He took the X, the @X handle.
Yeah, just took it from the user.
The articles are a little wrong about that. Basically, the guy who had it.
Thanks, A-Woods.
The guy who had it, they gave him a bunch of swag and stuff, but he didn't disclose exactly what they gave him. Just said it wasn't cash. But they did communicate with him and say they wanted it, and I think he gave it up pretty easily. But I mean, it's just the whole thing's just wild, and they're talking about changing the name of tweets. What are you going to call them now?
Yeah,
people call them tweets on Threads. My favorite thing is that they still own Twitter, the domain name Twitter, the copyright and the trademark and all that stuff. They could sell it to Jack Dorsey, and Blue Sky could just rebrand as Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sure that would happen.
That would be amazing. Could you imagine if Jack Dorsey got Twitter back through such a roundabout, insane business decision?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Ramsey is correct. Elon has been trying to name a company X for years.
Well, he did.
Since
He
PayPal.
named SpaceX. He got ousted from PayPal after trying to name PayPal X.
Mhm.
He's owned the domain for some huge amount of time. And he owns another thing that's got an X logo on it.
Hey Ben, did you know a little fun fact that the idea behind a hashtag started from a poster from San Diego who was posting about wildfires and came up with the idea of using the hashtag wildfire or whatever the name of the wildfire was so that people could find the news quicker. And that's how hashtag started. That was one of those little fun facts I like to spout off because it's a San Diego person.
Is it Chris Messina, like he says?
I'm going to say yeah, sure, because Ramsey knows
smart.
everything. Yeah, he kind of is, unfortunately.
Did we just announce PHP Tech 2024?
Yeah, you did.
I think we did.
That's crazy.
Kind of has to happen now.
Yeah, except it's not going to be in the title because it's going to be a Glorbo title.
It's going to be a Glorbo. Wait, what do we call it? PHP. What did we say? PHP operator. Glorbo. The PHP operator.
The Glorbo PHP Operator.
The Glorbo PHP. That's the name of the. That's the name of the title. The Glorbo PHP operator.
Or the new Glorbo PHP Operator.
That's probably better. The new Glorbo PHP operator. And in that link you shared, that like, does Glorbo have an image? Like, is there an image I can use, or it's just like there's really no image? Okay. The new Glorbo GRBO PHP operator. And what did Ben say? 8.3, 8.2, 8.3,
8.3.
Let's say 8.3 and 8.3.
So
That'll work. That should get us some views. Game changer. That's great. All right, I need to come up with a. I'm putting a goddamn cat in the background of the thumbnail just because I keep hearing the meow. Like, it's one of those things. Like, the cat has meowed for a while, but it's still echoing around in my head.
Yeah, no, my wife went to bed and the cat just stopped.
Well, I'm not giving you more food.
Yeah.
I give up. Put me down now.
Cats are wild. Hey, did you notice that it's a little bit quieter on my stream today?
I did.
Much
I was
better.
gonna say something
You
about
turn the
that.
rack off?
No. So I got myself. Oh, you can't even see it from this angle. I got myself a new MikroTik cloud switch. Cloud smart switch. It is fanless. It is 2 SFP plus ports with
Kind of like a podcast, fanless. Oh,
24 gigabit ports, 2 SFP ports, so I can run.
So basically, it'll overheat by next week, and you'll have the internet in there. Is that what you're saying?
The AC's still running. Come on.
our new house will be burned down.
So yeah, it costs about $175, but it's worth it. It's super cool. I can do all sorts of
No,
stuff.
it's not. It's not super cool. It's not worth it. There's nothing about what you said.
That thing behind it that says 654. How much did that cost?
The little clock. Yeah.
It was like $10. No, that's a lie. I don't know how much it was.
Kickstarter. I know how much you paid for it.
How much did I pay for it?
Because he logs all that. We say
like
we bought something. He's like,
180.
they bought this. They bought that.
Do not. It's like $180 for that thing.
Listen, they have new ones out. I'm getting
know.
one of the new ones. They're so cool looking. I actually want one of the ones, the train station ones that have the flippy flips. That's what I really want. But like the new ones with the lights.
Oh, those train station ones are so expensive.
They're absolutely insane.
Like starts at like $8,000.
We're gonna have to get 2 or 3 more Patreon supporters before I can get one of those.
Yeah.
What are you guys? What are these things called? What are you talking about?
Vestaboard. Vestaboard.com.
Damn, how do you just know that?
I googled it. It's very cool. It does a lot of cool stuff.
So
Good night, Ben.
This-
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Later, Ben.
I'm sorry, $3,000 for the. Let's see, the 6x.
They just showed it briefly. It's these little boards that have the flippy
Yeah,
signs.
6x22. Click on shop at the very top.
Shop at the very top. Shop now. But you can't see it. It doesn't flippy flip.
Yeah, it's not animated. That's dumb.
It's really dumb. It just looks like a sign.
The last picture is a video.
Oh, is it? What is that? That's not. Oh, that's just showing you.
Just hit play. Just.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Dude, how cool would that be to have?
Have you seen Chris Ramsey, the magician, on YouTube? He has one of these. It's, like I said, $3,000, not $5,000, but still.
He doesn't do the magic stuff anymore, though. He's all about puzzles.
Oh, he's still very much in magic. He's just.
Oh, I know he is. I watched him when he first started, and he did the whole. He was teaching magic on YouTube. And then he's like, I can't do that anymore.
Well, he sort of ran out of content. So did Modern Rogues. Sort of just ran out of content. He goes to magic like conventions and sort of produces things for those.
He was down here in San Diego at one point.
Yeah, he just did a TV show.
I had a little fun fact that I learned, and John, you would actually like this a lot. Somebody who was at Tech, a good friend of mine, Jake Bennett, and I can say that because he says he's a good friend of mine, is much like you, John. The guy carries a deck of cards with him and does all the card tricks. Does them all. It does them well, like really well. He was freaking Nuno out. Like Nuno was like, beside himself. You had showed me enough of them where I know how he's doing that. Unfortunately, I'm that person who I can still appreciate. Like I still appreciate how good somebody is at it, even though I know how it's happening. I like how smooth, and how good they are. But yeah, he's really good. He is really good. Jake
That's
Bennett.
awesome.
Next year at Tech, we'll get him to come to Tech again. I'm gonna get him to come and do that state machine talk. But you get Jake there, and we'll have him do some card tricks. Fun little fact: if you ever run into Jake Bennett at a conference, ask him to show you a card trick. He would be more than happy to do so. So as you saw when the show started, NorCal Kid is in a plane. They had a conference to go to. They go to conferences more than I go to conferences. But the current wife is scheduling to take him to the train station at like 3 a.m. Saturday so that they can get on a train to San Francisco.
Why not just fly back to San Francisco?
I mean, it's a whole thing, right? It's a train thing, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. For about the same amount of money, they could fly back to San Francisco and be done, in an hour.
Well, I meant why fly to San Diego? I mean, yes, see parents, but they're gonna get in very late tonight or tomorrow?
No. We're not even seeing them. They've already been here. They had to fly out of San Francisco to go to a conference for a day or two, and then they're coming back out of San Diego to go to a conference, and they're coming back to San Diego and then their whole vacation is wrapping up, and they're going to take the train back to NorCal.
Is that fucking Steve?
Yes, just Steve.
Fucking Steve. Shows up at 11:34.
Fucking Steve is here.
Yes.
I'm trying to get fucking Steve to do some work for us.
Fucking Steve needs to write an article. We need articles, people.
I'm
We
already
need feature-
DMing him.
We
Already
need feature
DMing.
articles.
Yes,
What does your SoCal kid do?
nurse. SoCal, or NorCal? SoCal.
Which one?
SoCal's nurse, or well, a RN right now, but studying to be a nurse or a phlebotomist. They don't know now. They're talking about taking some phlebotomy classes. So
Okay. In San Francisco?
I don't know if the official
back.
title is social worker, but they work for trans family support. So it's a nonprofit that's meant to help people transitioning, answer questions, understand what questions they should be asking, and that whole thing.
They should reach out to me.
I can do that. They're pretty good at it. Yeah, they along with the founder of this organization, they've been doing this since high school. They were intern, I guess, or whatever. Like they didn't get paid for years, and when they got their bachelor's degree, no, I think before they got their bachelor's degree, they started getting a paycheck. But yeah, so now it's like a full-time gig for them, and they've been that's here in San Diego. So they're a San Diego-based place, but so much of who they are is going to all these conferences and doing talks. So they were very accommodating to them when they moved up to NorCal. All right, well, so you fly out of NorCal.
I cannot hear you at all, man.
Your audio is so messed up.
Mine?
Yep.
It was.
It's good right now.
Oh.
Yeah, what'd you do?
You've been watching me this whole time. I've just been sitting here. I have literally not touched anything. NorCal's partner is still in San Francisco. They're ready back together. Yeah.
Your current wife was answering my question because you failed at answering it.
Yeah, you're a dad. You don't really have to pay attention. You just have to have general ideas. That's what I have. CNA. See, all these letters. Like, I don't know. There's something.
Yeah. My wife's a CNA.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's...
Sorry, my current wife.
Your current wife?
Yeah. She would kill me for saying that.
I think mine wanted to initially. And I said, put down the knife. There's a reason I say this.
It's because you're going to leave me.
And now they appreciate it. I think they've embraced it. They switched their Twitter handle to Shokum's current wife, and I think even their Instagram says Shokum's current wife, and obviously they embraced it in Discord. Steve, so since you're here, yeah, man, let me know what you want to write about. What are we doing? 2,500 words, John? And this goes to anybody who wants to write a feature article for us. 2,500 words.
25 to 3,500 words.
It sounds like a lot. It's not. I don't know why John continues to say 2,500 to 3,500. It's 2,500 to however many words you want to write. We will handle it if it runs long. Don't worry about that. But yeah, 2,500 words minimum. We pay. Can we say what we pay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay,
I don't
we
care.
pay 175 and
175 USD.
USD. So yeah, you come to us. You give us some ideas, and we'll let you know which ones we think fits the best, and You don't even have to write the article. You can just say, hey, I want to write about Postgres, or I want to write about that. And we'll say, well, we just did an article about Postgres. We just did this. You want to write about this?
What's your spin? Is your spin different?
Right.
Then maybe we'll take it.
Yeah.
You want some good news?
You can write about Gordo, the new
Glorbo.
Glorbo.
Glorbo. Oh man.
Gorfo.
It's gonna swallow his
What's
tongue.
some good news?
Michigan has become the 22nd state to outlaw conversion therapy.
Why is that good news?
Sarcasm.
That's good news. They outlawed conversion therapy.
Oh, conversion therapy. Gotcha. That's the whole convincing people that they're not.
They're not gay. Yeah.
We have a story on that. A friend of ours, a friend of the current wife and I, not the kids, had went through that in their younger, and they did it. They self did it. Like they were trying to, not be gay. Like they were taught it was wrong. It's not something. So they went to some therapist who was supposed to, I don't know, think it out of you or whatever. Anyways, years later, that therapist gets in touch with them, gets in touch with all his clients. He says, hey, I'm so sorry. I was a different person. I didn't have an understanding. Oh, by the way, I'm gay too. It's like,
Shocker.
They converted you. Ha! Plot twist.
It's the gay agenda, man. To turn people into happy people.
I have a very long history with that lifestyle. Not me personally, like I never participated in it, but my mother, from when I was a young age, my mom was in a female motorcycle gang club. And supposedly she was the only straight one there.
Supposedly, why you think she wasn't?
I don't know, man. I don't care, to be honest. That's I really don't. And that's my whole thing. Like, I've always very much struggled with, like, why do you care? Like, what? I don't understand. I struggle to understand, why is anybody's business? The only people's business it should be is anybody they're looking to have a physical relationship with, and perhaps their doctor, depending on medical needs. It's not even that person's family's business unless they want to share it. Me personally, I don't want to think of my parents' sexual prowess or whatever they did or didn't do. I don't care. It has no impact to my relationship with them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It's like if John came to me to say I'm gay. Like, I don't care. Don't tell me. I don't care. Like, I'm not.
But why can't I share with you? I should be able to share everything with you.
I don't care about that.
You don't care about me?
I just told you I swim in my pool with no clothes on, and you all freaked the hell out. What are you talking about?
No, I didn't. I just corrected you.
No, I just
you were technically wrong.
I've always struggled with, and nobody's really been able to explain it to me. And I don't care enough to pursue it. But I always struggled with the problem people have with other people. Sexual identity, it's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's so frustrating. So frustrating to me.
Well, you heard what happened with the was it the Italian beauty pageant?
Mm-mm. And I know people have a lot of opinions on this, and I don't mean to offend people. I just don't care. I'm sorry.
So, the Miss Italy beauty pageant has passed a ruling that says only women from birth are allowed to enter. So I'm gonna give you a hot take, okay? And it's not even something I want to share. Well,
we can talk about
before your hot take. 100 trans men have entered the pageant now.
Perfect.
Since they were at birth, they were declared a woman, then they are now accepted contestants.
Yeah, I do think, especially when it comes to sports, there are things we need to figure out. And I was having this conversation with somebody else. Unfortunately, we're so far apart as a society on just the basic rights and
Yeah.
how people should be
Bizarrely
treated.
so.
We can't even get into these nuances like beauty pageants and sports and things. There's a lot of things that need to be figured out and discussed. It's not like this should just be it. End of day, we don't have anything else to discuss. There are things to discuss, but we're not close. We're not anywhere near a platform where we're close enough to have that conversation, unfortunately. But that's my opinion. I don't think it's like there's just one answer and that's it. It's like, oh no, we need to think about the edge cases. I mean, we're developers, right? There are always these edge cases that need to be thought of because we're going to hit that edge case, no matter how, in the grand scope of things, how rare of an event it is that will happen. And things like this, it's one of those things that need to be kind of figured out and talked about. But we've got to get there. We've got to get there as a society. It's just how I feel about it. I'm sorry if anybody's going to stop listening because of my opinions, but I don't care.
I have a big day tomorrow. I've got my new tower speakers for my home theater coming, and my new server for the server rack.
Good, man.
So
you can start hosting the bot. That's something you can do in your server.
100% I can.
Huh?
100% I can.
Yeah, give me an account on that bad boy. I'll deploy the bots on your server.
Yeah.
You got fiber, right? Didn't you get fiber?
Not yet. My buddy just got fiber.
He's your buddy.
Fun story. He gets fiber and it works for about 2 days, and then terrible intermittent issues. They ran the fiber from the street box up to his house and through the wall and put it installed for him, and everything's great. And it's just terrible. It's just not working. He can't figure out why. Finally, they send out the technician who is like the most expert of experts on the team, and they look at it and they're like, "Wait, why is the line buried? We hadn't come through and buried the line yet." So,
they just had it like laying on the ground.
Well, because they have a team that comes through the next week or two and buries it all properly for the whole neighborhood. So it just runs across the ground for the time being. And the neighbor had decided, I don't like this ugly thing here. I need to put my grass back on my lawn. So she goes and buries the fiber line. That's not hers. She doesn't have fiber. She didn't buy it. So
well, why is it on her property?
Because it's split between the two houses. It shares a connection box. So they pull it up, and it's just a straight up like 90-degree bend in the fiber.
Light's funny. It kind of needs it.
Yeah, she just basically hit it with a shovel until it was under where it was supposed to be. And it didn't occur to her that, like, that's a problem.
I told you guys that story when I was working for the Fortune 500 company, right? With our data center in Virginia, they had some people who were trying to steal copper, and they dug down and severed the fiber lines for the data center. I'm like, good God! And like the whole data center goes down. And of course, we're flipping out because, you know, it's like some very important servers are no longer online.
Right.
So we had to do the whole disaster recovery thing, and we somebody had to fly out there, grab the drives, go to our other data center, plug in the drives. It was horrible, man.
So the funny thing about fiber is that they offer up to 5 gigabit fiber. And I'm like, of course, my immediate thought is absolutely, I want 5 gigabit fiber. And I start looking around like at my rack, and I'm like, wait a second, all my stuff is gigabit Ethernet. Even the line,
that's fine. Yeah,
the line coming into the switch is gigabit.
That's fine. Yeah, that's how my house is. The fiber ends at the
right. But if I'm paying for 5 gigabit, I can never get above 1 gigabit total bandwidth out of the house. Because
that's why I was asking. It's like, how would you ever utilize all that bandwidth?
So the first thing I have to do is I have to get so there's a SFP port on this switch, so I have to put a SFP module that supports the 10 gigabit, so that I can put the line into it. Well, if I'm hosting a bunch of stuff on it, yeah.
I don't know what porn sites you plan on running, man, but
you said you don't want to know. You don't care. It's not your problem.
I'm sitting here going crazy. I'm doing some accounting work, and you had asked me about paying somebody earlier today, and I'm like, I'll pay him today.
I saw the email.
Yeah, but I'm going through. I'm like, wait, this says I paid him already. So now I'm thinking I paid him twice. Yeah, it's just that's already come into our accounting system, and I didn't realize that it was going to do that quick. I'm freaking out over here. For no reason.
Yeah, okay.
Every day, someone in my company gets an email that said, or gets a text message that says, "Hey, this is blah blah blah, the owner of the company. Can you respond? I'm in a flight and can't talk." Like every day, someone gets one of those text messages.
You have LinkedIn to think for that. LinkedIn to think for that right there.
I got a text message within 3 weeks of joining the company, and I had not updated my LinkedIn. I don't know where they got the information from, but within 3 weeks of joining the company, I got one of those text messages.
Hey, who at your company do we have to send the prospectus to? Because
I already sent you that like forever ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
And I talked to the person, and they said that they really only do mental health and therapy conferences.
Bullshit.
Because they use it for networking.
I see them all over the place.
You see them in TV and podcasts and stuff, but as far as conferences go, they just do mental health stuff. But you should definitely send your social worker child my direction. Not that I want to like take away somebody from a nonprofit, but
ping them on Discord. You know their handles.
I don't. NorCal?
Yeah, NorCal. Sevi, I need to give your package a look. I keep saying I will.
Whoa, TMI.
This PHP JSON utilities.
Your wife is so smart.
Yeah.
All right, don't sponsor our conference. Sponsor the podcast.
Oh, I was going to say, you do a podcast, but
I am.
Then I realized, no, he doesn't. He's not a host or anything.
I have my friend who's in the hospital right now actually knows the woman who runs the podcast marketing for my company. I've never bothered her with it. But my friend had emergency back surgery this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have to do that before we left, actually. Family member, not the current wife or I, but a family member had a little back issue. All right. I need to end the stream so I can start editing things. Thanks everybody for hanging out.
We spent a lot of money on Uber in May.
Why that? What happened in May that we would have Ubered around Chicago with? What? That doesn't make sense. All right.
I never want to see my company's Uber bill.
You're not supposed to be looking at the details, John. Just pay the damn bill. All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Buttery, as always, thank you.
Good night.
Haywood's been, you guys are gone, but thanks for hanging out. All 8 people still watching us. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to end the stream so I can start editing. Bye.
Bye.